sampling process. So sampling process is selecting a pot of assigned population. So from the assigned population we will be selecting a sample. So here we will be having certain specific criteria for selecting. The sample should have an homogeneous characteristics phenomenon and the interest. This is all the pattern we will look for when we are selecting a sample. So sampling process, so before entering into the sampling process, we are supposed to follow certain steps. First, what you have to do, identify and defining the target population. So first is the basic thing, we should identify and define the target population, and the second thing, describe the accessible population and ensure the sampling frame. And next we have to specify the sampling unit, and next specify sample selection methods. Then determine the sample size and then specify the sampling plan, and finally we will be selecting a desired sample. What is identifying and defining the target population? So this is the first step. For first and foremost thing, we have to identify and define the target population. So the target population is the total group of people or objects who have the designated set of criteria or interest. So example, if you are taking the sample from community or hospitals, example, if you are taking the people those who are diagnosed with the hypertension, so what is your target population? So the people diagnosed with the sample diagnosed with the diabetes mellitus residing at particular community, or the subjects diagnosed with the diabetes mellitus admitted in particular hospital. That is your target population. So the target population is the aggregate of cases about which the researcher would generalize the information. And the second one, describe the accessible population and ensure the sample frame. So first we have planned the target population, but what will happen? So only thing, if you are concentrating on the target population, it will be difficult. For example, the researcher is collecting the sample from the community, and a particular community he decide to take all the hypertensive patients. Sometimes in the community, that area may be having 500 or 1000 population, so it will be difficult to cover up all the population, that is the target population with the hypertension. So what we will do, we will be scrutinizing into accessible population. So here, in the target population, we will be assessed that accessible population that will be categorized. We will say that the age group between 20 to 40 years, or the people diagnosed with hypertension, age between 20 to 40 or 20 to 50. Based on that, we will be describe the accessible population. So that's what a researcher must establish a description about the accessible population which is readily available for researcher. And after establishing a complete description of accessible population, researcher must have a sampling frame available to select a sample from accessible population. Coming to the sampling unit, so sampling unit is the building block of a data set. Here the individual members of the population and the cluster of members. So the cluster of members will be scattered somewhere, and some other predefined unit. So this must be concretely defined as part of groundwork for statistical research. And specifying the sample selection methods. So here the researcher has to specify the sampling method. It's an integral part of the research design, and it will be differ for quantitative data and qualitative data, because quantitative data we will concentrate on number of samples, and qualitative data we will only assess the quality. So our main motto is to assess the quality. We doesn't bother about the quantity, but in quantitative data, more amount of sample we will be getting a desired result. So sampling methods are characterized into two distinct approaches that are probability sampling and non-probability sampling. So what is happening in probability sampling? So probability sampling is nothing but occurrence of events. So if you are tossing a coin, your coin has a head and tail. So if you are tossing a coin, you will get either head or either tail. That is the probability sample. So what is probability sample? Probability sampling is nothing but we are seeking the randomization. So what is randomization? Randomization is nothing but every sample has an equal chance to participate in the study. So either head or tail, so every sample has an equal chance to participate in the study. That is the randomization. We will be collecting the sample that will be in the probability sample. That is a true experimental design. And in case of non-probability sample, so non-probability sample, there may not be, it will be a chance. Non-probability sampling, we will be collecting a sample by a chance or purpose you or of your the researcher convenient. So here what will happen, and probability sample, there we have given equal chance to all the subjects, but it is just opposite to the probability sample is not probability sample. Here the non-probability sample, every subject will not given the equal chance according to the researcher's convenient or purposely or based on his or her judgment. He will be selecting the sample. So this is the non-experimental design. What is determining the sample size? So sample size will be differ from one study to another, that is depend upon the study, and mainly when we are determining the sample size, we have to find out the prevalence rate. So example, where exactly the researcher determined to study, where exactly the area, that particular area, that the community or the particular district, he has to find out the prevalence rate. So based on the prevalence rate, we will determine the sample size, and also the researcher choose the sample based on demographic data such as age, gender or physical location. And main thing, when we are determining the sample size, we have to keep in mind a formula, that is n is equal to 4pq by d square. That number of sample is equal to 4 into prevalence rate into q is equal to p minus q and divided by 100. And next is the specifying sampling plan. So the sampling plan is a detailed outline of which measurement will be taken at what time, on which material, in what manner and by whom. So here, that is the main thing as a researcher we have to keep in mind. So that is the tool which you are planned to use, whether it's a questionnaire or interview or survey or observation, like what is the tool you have planned to select the sample and what time you are planning to select and which material, what are the resources and what manner, it's a formal or informal manner, and by whom, whether either it's a researcher or sometimes what will happen. If the researcher is unable to collect the data, someone else may be collecting, or by whom we are collecting. So everything will be explained in the when we are specifying the sampling plan. And the next is selecting a desired sample. So here the researcher draw a representative sample from the accessible population, and this requires the implementation of plan of the sampling process and ultimately select a representative part of the population. So always make sure when we are collecting the sample, it should be collected from the representative population. Some of the factors influencing sampling process. So various factors which will be affecting the sampling process. The first one is the nature of the researcher. So the nature of the researcher, the first thing, that is inexperienced investigator. So the researcher or the investigator, whoever is planned to do the research, if they are not having adequate experience, that will be bringing a flop in the research study. So the investigator lacks adequate knowledge. If the investigator is not having adequate knowledge or not experienced in the particular area or not determined, and he doesn't have the proper methodology of collecting the sample, and the sample selection may be adversely affected. And the second one is lack of interest. So sometimes the researcher, even though they are having an adequate knowledge or experience, they may not be having the self-motivation to carry out the research in a proper manner. So that is a self-motivation, we can say. So here, establishing research methodology on the part of the researcher. So if he doesn't have a proper motivation to do the research, this also will be affecting the drawing of the sample. Then intensive workload. So intensive workload, lack of adequate sources and ability sometimes, even though if they are having adequate knowledge or interest or self-motivated, if the particular research or investigator doesn't have adequate resources to carry out the study. So in case if you want to check the blood pressure, if he doesn't have the calibrated BP apparatus, or in case if you want to check the GRBS, if he doesn't have the proper glucometer, so adequate resources are not available to carry out the study, so that will also be a flop. And sometimes inadequate handling of research process, or sometimes if he is not handling it properly, that also affecting the sampling process. Then inadequate supervision. Always the research has to need an adequate supervision. So if the particular research there is not an adequate supervision, the research or implementation of the particular plan, the research process will not be in a success manner. So every research, whenever it's student or a scholar, whatever the research they are doing, always it should be properly supervised by someone. Then coming to the nature of the sample. So nature of the sample, first one is inappropriate sampling technique. So sampling technique is the foremost important one, and if the researcher failed to choose an appropriate sampling technique, the whole sampling process may be affected. And here the sample size and very large sample become heterogeneous. So if you are seeking a large amount of sample, it may become heterogeneous and do not exhibit the character, because what will happen, instead of selecting a 60 sample, if you are selecting 200 or 300, they will not possess the similar characteristics, and it will be at lost, it will causing a bias in the study. And even if the sample is too small, because if you are doing a quantitative study, always we will concentrate on the sample size, because more weightage will give to the sample size for the quantitative study. And in quantitative study, the researcher is doing the quantitative study and only he is selecting a minimal amount of sample, that is less than 30, it will not generalize he could not generalize the study findings. But at the same time, if you are doing a quantitative study, so quantitative study, we doesn't bother about the number of samples, only we will see the quality. So in the qualitative study, only less than 30 samples is well enough to conclude your research finding. What is defective sampling frame? And defective sampling frame lead to faulty process. So sampling frame always should be a proper one. If there is any fault in the sampling frame has not planned properly, it may be getting a faulty sampling process. So here the researcher should have adequate knowledge about the population under study to have an appropriate sampling frame. Then even circumstances also will be causing problem in the research process. So first one is large geographic area. Here, what will happen in large geographic area? Here, large geographic area mainly needs a lot of time and resources to accomplish the sampling process. So sometimes the researcher will be getting only a minimal amount of time. Within minimum period, he is supposed to complete the task, but he is in a situation to cover up the large geographic area. And what will happen, sometimes he or she is not having an adequate amount of resources, he could not cover up the large geographic areas, because what will happen, it will lead to mental and physical exhaustion and the sampling process will be adversely affected. Then lack of time. So the same thing we can take in large geographic areas. What will happen? The minimal amount of time the researcher can't complete the sampling, so it will be taking much time. So adequate time it's not available for the planning and implementation, it will become a flop. So always the for proper planning and implementation of the sampling process, we need adequate amount of time, otherwise it will be adversely affected. The rest is the lack of cooperation. So even the lack of cooperation from authorities or even the sample, So if the sample is not cooperating properly, so what will happen? Some people at the time of initial time, they will be cooperating and they will be involved in the study. But what will happen if you are going for a long-term process, 1 week, 2 weeks observation, at the time of ongoing your study, some people may like to withdraw in your study. So that also will be causing an influence in your sampling process. So in the absence of cooperation of the request authorities or study subjects, or there is more attrition in the sampling process, that also flop the study. Then coming to the natural calamities. So even sometimes the sampling process may be affected by natural calamities such as flood or natural disaster, death or other environmental concerns. Because what will happen, this and all inevitable, that is suddenly if there is any occurrence of natural calamities, so we can't continue our study. So that will be hardly affecting the sampling process. Thank you.